Okay. So now, though you have created the SAP account, I'll try to create my account right now in front of you, and we'll from there we'll be navigating straight to BTP account, BTP cockpit, and from there we'll demonstrate how the structure and we correlate to the slides whatever we have presented yesterday, and is we see each of the components of BTP and what are the services and etc. We explore more on this. Okay, so now I'm just going to create my account. Let me look at the states. Yes. Let me check my email address and confirm. I've got my just activating my account. So what will be? Yep. Yep. And let me so I'm there. Yes. So I think you might already have the SAP Universal ID if you are dealing with your SAP multiple accounts. So then you can link all of those accounts at one place using the SAP Universal ID. Okay, so you can do that later. And now the registration is done for my SAP account. So now it's a pretty simple. We just go and SAP BTP cockpit. So we search for SAP BTP cockpit. There you go. So we'll go to the SAP BTP cockpit. So this is the launching page of SAP BTP cockpit. So everything, whatever the operation we wanted to do on SAP BTP, this is the launching page for us. So BTP launching page is this one. And if we sign in, so if I have any universal accounts, it will just pop me to choose the account, but I haven't linked this for any universal account. This is my independent account. So if you see here, so this is what my ID generated for my trial account. So left side, you see the regions and services. everything here. But if we go into the trial home, so this is what we need to do, trial home. And okay, let me authenticate the account. Where is that? It's unfortunate. Not okay. So allow me a moment. Let me log in with my normal account, and you will see how I'm linking my just now created account as well. Let's pick the again the same account. Perfect. So don't worry. So here, what I see, I'll try to add my account. If we go to account maintenance, so it will ask for the email address, the account we created. So if we enter that email address, it just goes ahead and sends the verification code. We can enter the verification code and we can add this is the problem if you have multiple accounts. Okay, so I think it is saying somewhere my email is already linked.
Maybe if you try to clear the cache and then payments.
Yep. I'm trying that. I'm trying from the incognito mode. Let's see. Bear with me a moment for this glitch. Failed to verify email address. Completely logging out. So now SAP has automated this process of creating universal ID when we create new login. So earlier we had to create the user ID, then we had to make our own way to link the accounts.
Excuse me, Changa, are you sharing your screen with me or for everyone?
Yeah.
Oh,
So you are not sharing that.
okay, that's interesting. It has come again, the same loop. Let me see if this one allows. Perfect. Good. Okay, so I think everybody has reached up to this stage. You might have selected one of these regions. Am I right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what region you choose for our trial account really. So, but this region selection really matters in terms of real business. Okay, so that's the reason I was just creating my account in front of you. So this region, I'll be choosing US West, US East. So just create my account. If you see whatever we have discussed, so the region came at the first place because that is must for all the global account or sub account or whatever. But the cardinality will differ. Sub account, each sub account can have only one region. So here in the region, if you see clearly, there is hyperscaler provider information as well. So it's AWS. Amazon Web Services is providing this service for us. So underlying information, underlying infrastructure, whatever is required to run on this one, so that is completely being provided by AWS. So in the background, you see some interesting names. Those we have discussed, SAP Business Application Studio and things like that. So we will see where we go there. So meanwhile, what I would like to do, so we have stopped yesterday at the slide. Where is that one? Yeah. Discovery Center, right? If the account creation is taking time, I would really like to show that. Okay, that's fine. So if you see here, this space is created as DAV. Okay, so this space is really in real time. In real time, this space is chosen, the name chosen by the customer. So as we have um, no option to choose the sub account name and etc. If you see, sub account is trial for us, but in real time, the customer will be having an option to create their own sub account with their own choice of names. Okay, and it's equivalently same space as well. So these values, whatever we see here, trial and DEV, we will see in a while. So continue. I said continue. So this is what you might have stopped at. So after creating your account, you might have ended up at this place. So at this place, I would like to go to click on go to your trial account. Let's go to our trial account for now. So let's not worry about SAP Business Application Studio and everything, whatever you see there. So here, this is the BTP homepage for our account. So if you see here trial home, again it goes back. So if you click on your trial account, this is the trial account for us. So directories and sub accounts, we don't have a choice to create a directory and sub account. This sub account, we are allowed to create one sub account as a trial. So we have that sub account here. And in the sub accounts, the same will be displayed here. Okay, so this is the view of it. Whatever the view we want, we can choose the layout of it. So they all doesn't make any value to us. So we just need to see the trial account. That's it. So and here left side, if you see here the entitlements. So entitlements, entity assignments, for example, and service assignments. Right now we have just created our sub account. We don't have any entitlements on this sub account at the moment, and service assignments. These are the service assignments. ABAP environment quota is 1 created. So these are all the quota assignment. What type of subscription we are going to have for this particular sub account. So these are all whatever is capable service assignment. So these are all the services are available and assigned to this particular sub account. All we need to do is just need to use these capabilities. For that, we will be dealing in the manner of instances. So we will be creating instances for this one. So let's see how we go ahead and create them. And before that, if you click on the sub account, obviously, whenever we navigate further, all our navigation options at the left hand side, they all automatically will be changed. So right now, these are the options which are showing with respect to the sub account which we have chosen. So the sub account, it's a place of hosting the applications, as we have seen yesterday. If you see here HTML5 applications, we will host all the applications onto this sub account. Whatever the applications, HTML5 applications we host on the sub account, they all will be displayed here. So this sub account we will be using effectively across our training. So we will be developing the applications on cloud as well using the Business Application Studio. Whatever the applications we develop using Business Application Studio, they will be deployed onto this sub account and they all will be listed down here. And we will see how the application and its respective versioning and what we can control on that particular application, etc. We will see all those capabilities of this applications component of this BTP. Okay. So, and if you see, this is the overview. Again, it goes back to our sub account. So this sub account, this is the subdomain of our account, whatever the application we start, and that will be using a preceded custom domain, what I would say here. So here, if you see hana.ondemand.com, for example, so whenever we run applications from our sub account, it will start with this name and then .hana.ondemand.com. That's how this will work. We will see when we create instances for particular services. So those services will have this sub account name as a subdomain or preceded custom one. So these are all the IDs which are GUIDs. GUIDs, unique IDs created to identify our sub account. So this information, this ID information, we will not be using at the moment, but this is all for our information. So provider, as we said, so Amazon Web Services, AWS, and this is the region and environment, multi-environment. Yes, we know that we have facilitated to use the multi runtime environments. Okay, and multi environments. Could anyone answer what are the environments we have discussed yesterday? What are the runtime environments available for us?
Cloud Foundry and Kaima.
Yeah.
ABAP.
Yes, that's perfect. So these are the three environments, three runtime environments available for us. So that's why it is saying just multi-environment. Okay. So, and the endpoint, API endpoint for this particular Cloud Foundry environment, whatever we see here. So for Cloud Foundry environment, this is the endpoint. Endpoint, we need it to connect to any of the application services. Okay. So we will see these wherever it is required. So these endpoints basically, if we are connecting to BAS, Business Application Studio, to develop any application, then we must need what is the endpoint the BAS is connecting. So if you think about right now, these days we are just working on Eclipse as well. But for Eclipse, we have already predefined endpoints. So if you have tried to launch Eclipse, it might have already shown you the all the systems, the list of systems which are already configured on the GUI. So that each system is nothing but an endpoint. So Based on that, we will be developing our applications. So what is the source for supporting our program? So if we are writing a program, it has to communicate somewhere on some system, right? So that is the endpoint which we mean here. Okay, so here whatever the capability if we are trying to use here, for example, I'm yet to come to this space. Let me come in a while. So these endpoints are more meaningful in terms of spaces. Okay, so these spaces are more powerful, and this is where all the application developments we do here. So each development space, each space we will be defining what kind of um, environment this development space is. Okay, we can have multiple spaces here under a sub account. So these spaces we will create an instance and we will go further on this. So if you see the schema environment, we don't have schema environment. In a way, we will not be using schema environment here because we are not going to develop any cloud applications or Java applications or something. We will be using Cloud Foundry environment effectively and development space for us. So let me go to trial again. Okay. And if you see here entitlements, these entitlements we have already seen. These all the quota assigned. We can create only one instance ABAP environment. We can create only one ABAP environment. What kind of plan it is? The service plan. It is a shared one. Okay. So most of them will be shared, and whatever is coming not shared or something, so they are not going to be productive use if you carefully see it. So the document translation, every service whatever is available here, and we can make use of them. For example, the integration studio, sorry, integration suite, etc. Okay, so if you want to pursue more on this one, then we can simply uh, go ahead and the discovery center, which we will be saying soon. So there we can estimate the cost as well. So what if we are turning this into a production, or we are really helping the customer to choose one of the service and how cost it is or something like that. For an estimation point of view, we can simply look at it. Where is this one? Yeah, we can simply go and calculate the costs for that particular service, and we can guide or help the customer to uh, go for it. Or yeah. So and if you see business process automation, so this is RPA is this, and Business Application Studio is a service. Again, it's a trial. So what is the quota assigned to us? It's one. Okay, and HANA schema and HDA containers, it's a 10 instances are allocated to us. HDA shared, this is again shared instance. So these instances, everything we will be looking in detail. Okay, so this is on the overview of sub account, and now services. If you see left side, we see the services here. So this service marketplace, this is where we come to know what are the services available on this particular region. So we have selected US East region, and on that region, whatever the service is available, we can see all those services available on that particular region. So if you see the category of this one, artificial intelligence, AI, and data attribute reconciliation, these are all one of the service. Each individual, each tile referring here is an independent service on the BTP. So if we want to take it further, or we want to the customer wants to make use of it, then yes, customer can go ahead with one of the service, and they can simply simply subscribe to this service, pay for it, use it, pay. That's it, consumption based. So you can see some of the familiar names which we have seen yesterday: the business rules, ABAP environment, launchpad services, mobile services, process automation, business application studio, RPA automation. So this is going to be renamed into the process automation. Okay. And UI theme designer is we haven't seen, and workflow management, workflow. Okay. Audit logs. All these ones are SAP HANA Cloud. These are all the services where we have seen yesterday many of them familiarly. Okay. So if we want to make use of these services, then we can straight away go ahead and create an instance, and we can make use of these ones. Okay, so the integration suite, everything. Let me see someone joining. Yeah. Okay.
Changal, a bit confusing here.
Mm.
In the overview, where you have a space, right? Development space.
Correct.
What is that space and here this space? Like, if I created a space in the
No. Yeah, don't get confused. Okay. So this this service, it's a marketplace provided by SAP. So here nothing is created by customer. Okay, but if you see in the trial account, this space is created by the customer, where
this
customer
is specific to the customer.
correct. This is customer specific. Customer will be implementing or creating their own custom applications in this space. Okay.
Like a server kind of a
Yes.
space, they will be giving server.
Correct.
So it is only visible to that specific customer.
Correct. So once you subscribe to this service, okay, yes, okay, you're fine. You subscribe to this service. Okay, let's go into the ABAP environment. So this ABAP environment, yes, that's fine. So this is the plan and etc. We have not customer have not subscribed to this ABAP service yet, ABAP environment yet. Okay, it's a trial service, ABAP trial. So if I decide to use this ABAP environment on cloud, okay, then I need to create an instance for this. While creating an instance, it will ask, okay, that's fine. You are opting for a service provided by SAP. Okay, what is your own space? Where do you want to use this service?
Okay, it will be linked to that space.
Exactly. So up to this point, the customer did not decided, okay, to select or use any specific service. So until now, it is everything in the SAP space, the hyperscaler space. So it's just service marketplace, like how we use a Play Store on our mobile or App Store on an iOS mobile. So if we are navigating through the Play Store, that's up to us. We can see what are all the list of applications available. Until we click on install, then only it gets installed onto our phone memory. Am I right?
Right.
So this is the same concept. It's a pretty straightforward one. So this is the marketplace, service marketplace, where we see all the services available on that particular region. We have not taken any decision yet. Okay. So if we decide to use any of these service, okay, so I don't have a development platform. I decide to subscribe to Business Application Studio. Let's click on this one. Okay, that's fine. So you can just read the description and etc. So here you might need to create an instance and subscriptions. Okay, SAP Business Application Studio, it's already subscribed.
All right. Yeah. Clear.
Okay, so that is what is service marketplace here. So each service is an independent topic from here on. Okay, so myself not very much talented or very much gained knowledge on each service available here. Okay, so we have, according to our requirements, according to our business navigations, according to our business, we will be pursuing one of the service required for business, few of the services required for business. Okay, so in this case, ABAP environment, yes, we will be going in depth on this ABAP environment. And business rules, we just explore here. Whoever have BRF plus knowledge, it will make them easy. So customer will be just creating an instance and building an application and to store all the business rules. On request, if time allows us, we can explore on business rules. And Launchpad service, yes, we will be explicitly working on this Launchpad service because we will be building Fiori applications on cloud as well using Business Application Studio. And we will be looking how the catalogs, how the user roles, and how we enable the newly developed application to the user. So in that point of view, yes, we will be going on to this Launchpad service in depth. And mobile services, we will be just creating an instance and we'll be seeing how a mobile application can be created using BTP. But we will not be entering into iOS or Android specific mobile development kits because they are specific. We will not be getting into there. And yes, Business Application Studio, definitely we will be using Business Application Studio. And SAP HANA, SAP HANA Cloud, yes, we will be using this service, and we will be creating tenants, HANA Cloud tenants on BTP, and we will see how the administration works. And there is a HANA Central concept as well. The HANA Central is the latest one which SAP has launched, and we will see how the central cockpit will look like. So this will be similar BTP like cockpit. It's an independent cockpit for HANA Central alone. Okay, and even this alert notification and application logging services, these are all individual topics in a way. So these alert notifications are required for the customers, whoever using the Launchpad service on cloud. Okay, so if you look at this, the BTP itself, it is kind of a Launchpad deployed to us. So Launchpad, the Fiori Launchpad will look like in the same manner how we see this here. If you see on top, if you are following my cursor, you see that. So this is the shell, which Launchpad shell, similar to that. And here you see, so these are all the information. You see a small bell icon here to display the notifications. So those notifications, providing those notifications, it is again a service which we are seeing here. Okay, alert notifications. So these alert notifications is a service. Why it is required means, if we are connecting, if the customer have multiple SAP or non-SAP systems, but using the Launchpad service on BTP, obviously the user might need to be notifying with some other notifications, like you have these many pending approvals, or like the the document has been approved and it has gone for payment or something like that. Okay, all the notifications, whatever we see, and those notifications, the customer can configure using this alert notification service. And authorization and trust management. So this is again it's a similar to the security concepts what we have seen yesterday. And if the customer is having a standalone IDP, identity provider, so they can configure the identity provider and they can tackle with non-SAP and SAP systems, whatever they are using, and all can come into this place and they can get authorized, authenticated with a single sign-on. Okay, So likewise, we have a cloud transport management. This comes under application lifecycle management again. So this application lifecycle. Okay, so if right now we have only a single cloud foundry sub account. So what if we have multiple sub accounts, and what do we need? What do we need to move the content from one sub account to another sub account? Like our landscape, how we move our transports from development to quality. How do we need to do that on cloud? If we treat this as a landscape, an independent landscape, whatever the applications we have created on our development sub account, we definitely might need to move those transports to quality sub account to support our landscape architecture. So in those cases, we must need to have the transport mechanism here. So in terms of HANA, SAP HANA Cloud, it will be in a different manner. So there we hear the delivery unit concept. So it's a delivery unit is nothing but a package. So the package, we whatever the development we do on HANA side, we will be assigning this to a delivery unit, and the delivery unit will be taken across the environments. Okay, so here everything, whatever the services point of view, these services are made easy, and we can easily go into each service and we can explore if we decide to pursue more. So for example, I'm going into the ABAP environment or the business rules, for example. So if you see the enough description has been given here, but underneath it, so there is a link for this documentation as well. So if you click on this documentation, you will be navigated to the respective topic on the help portal itself. So business rule capability within the SAP workflow management. So what all we can do here? So this is the documentation. So here the documentation has been clearly categorized into the sections. So if you already know the business rules, then you may be interested in what's new. So if there is a latest update released on business rules, you can straight away go ahead and look at this link, what has been released newly. And if you are a developer and if we want to develop a business rules application, the, the business rules based application, how we need to, how we can use this one, how you can create an application using their rules. So you can straight away go ahead and click that link. So it displays the navigated levels of links. We can straight away go ahead and create project, model data objects, model rule service, model rules, define rule sets, and use it in your application. Okay, so deploy rule set and import a project, export a project. So these pretty predefined steps and documented information is available for each of the service. So for example, if you say mobile services, so these mobile services, again, it's the same. So some places you see the support as well. So what is the support for this one? So it needs the login to go into the SAP One website, where we see the SAP notes and etc. Okay. So apart from this documentation, if you go to the documentation, it goes to SAP Mobile Services and getting started Neo. We have the environments as well specified, and the development on Cloud Foundry, how we need to do REST services on Cloud Foundry and OData SDK, etc. So if we are specific about the mobile development on cloud, if we are specifically building mobile applications on BTP, then this is where we will be exploring. Okay, so that is why I clearly mentioned it's not it's not an idea to deep dive into each topic. So if we want to deep dive into these kind of topics, it's nowhere. We will not be finishing anything. Okay, so it will be keep going. So you'll not be doing that. So if whatever the area, and at the same time, none of us will be working on all these areas at the same time. So one may be working in mobile applications, and one might be working on data service, and one might be working on UI side. So this is how the S4 HANA trend is going on at the moment. So nobody is working on end to end. So nobody is developing data service and UI at the same time, and nobody is doing end to end stuff. It's very limited. So if we have an idea what are all the capabilities here and where we can get and what is the realistic information we have from SAP, knowing all these is very important on this front. So if you see it is highly impossible to navigate all the services available here, and also it's impossible for us to deep dive into any specific topic as well. So as whatever is relevant for us, business application studio and ABAP environment, yes. So a couple of services we can cover. Okay, so this is about the marketplace, and we will be having all the services here. And there is another one, discovery center. I'll come in a while. And instances and subscriptions, if you see here, so these are all the instances what we have created. Okay, so the business application studio trial will come automatically. We don't need to create an instance for that specifically. And for rest of the services, we definitely need to instantiate them. We just need to create create an instance. Okay, and then we will have to use those instances. We will create an instance, and what are all the things will be coming under the instances. We will see them in detail. Don't worry. So this is what our Cloud Foundry environment is. So here we have already seen the spaces. To see the spaces, we have development space here. Okay, if we want another space, we can create another space. So these are the roles, whatever the roles the space this user needs to have it, whoever the user it is. Okay, space auditor, space supporter, we can create. I think I'm not sure if we are uh, allowed to create multiple spaces. Let me create one. Yes, we are allowed to create another space as well. And let me create another one. Yes, we are allowed to create. So usually like a sub accounts, I thought it might be restricted to create multiple spaces. Okay, but it's not the case. Yes, somebody.
I think it will not create more than in network.
Okay, pre-prod. Yes, I'm able to create more than 3 as well. 4 spaces I have right now. Okay, anyway. So the quota plans. So these quota plans, whatever we have. So these are all the quota plans if you see here. So this is an HANA side. So usually these quota plans will be allocated based on the infrastructure. So this space is nothing but we just asking the hyperscaler to provide some space to make our developments. So obviously the customer will be having an option to allocate or decide the size of each space he need, and the customer will be opting for that size. So if you see here spices, I see some information here. So if you see 0 of 4 GB memory is utilized on this space, and how many services are being started on this development space, there is no service on this particular one. None, in none of the space has in services running on this particular space. Okay, so applications wise, 0 applications started and 0 applications stopped, no applications. So this information, so don't nothing to be panic at the moment. So we will see when we create our own application and deploy it back to Cloud Foundry environment. We will see all this information on this tiles replicated. Okay, and org members. So this is where we decide who are going to be the org members on this particular one. So we can add all the members who are allowed to make use of this particular sub account. Okay, so if anyone can tell your email address, I think I will try to add them.
ARUNPCHARY.
Is it gmail.com?
Right.
So I'm adding you as org manager. No. So if you see you have been added to this sub account. So when you get into this your trial account, I think you might be able to see this sub account in your account. Okay. So org manager, let me put org manager as well. So that's it done for you. And similarly, we can add all the members who are all required to be on this particular sub account. So HTML5 applications, as we have seen already. So if we develop any HTML5 is nothing but it's a UI5 application. Okay. So the UI5 applications will be shown here. So as we do not have any UI5 application right now, it's not showing any of this. So and moving to the next one, connectivity service. We have seen the connectivity service yesterday, the theory front, but now we are looking into the connectivity services right now. So the destinations. So these destinations are very powerful services. This connectivity service, we are saying since yesterday I'm mentioning, we can connect to any of the system from BTP, either it is a non-SAP system or SAP system, whatever it is, we can connect from BTP. That's what I was mentioning. So that is possible using only the connectivity service available on BTP. So in this connectivity destinations, so these are the destinations where we can create all our required destinations, the target systems. So that we can easily uh, connect to that particular system. Okay, so we will be creating multiple destinations on BTP. So we will be configuring the SAP system or the SAP system, and we will be configuring one of the non-SAP system as well in this part of training. Yes, somebody have a question?
As a native HANA system also we can add this, right?
Yes, we can.
I have seen there is a FMs they are adding to the destination
Sorry.
function modules.
Okay.
They are adding new destination as a function module for getting the data. We are doing like that only here, or we are adding the system.
No, so there are approaches based on the system landscape. So functional modules or something. So we will not be we will not be using those terminologies when we are working on BTP alone. Okay, so but these function modules or RFC destinations, or these are the terminologies when we work on the on-premise system specifically. So if you have, the customer might be running on a hybrid approach, like he might be having a HANA database on BTP, and he wanted some data, whatever he has stored on BTP HANA database, onto his on-premise system. Okay, so in those situations, we must need to establish a connection on our on-premise system to BTP. It is other way around. Now we are on BTP. In our case, we are on BTP, and we are trying to access the systems out of BTP. But your case is you are on-premise system and you are trying to access BTP. So in this case, so the customer may be free to create their own RFC destinations and own functional modules, or it's just for namesake the interfacing to connect to BTP and pull the data accordingly.
Okay.
Okay, so in this case, these destinations, if you click on new destination here, so these are all a predefined set of a validated parameters list, where we need the information in this form. Okay, so if we want to connect to the database from here using through any UEFI application, yes, of course, we must have the destination configured here first. So at the same time, if we want to connect to any on-premise system, even that is same. So for on-premise system, you are already out of the system. You are running out of the on-premise system. On-premise in the sense the SAP core system. You are not connected to any SAP system at the moment. It's a standalone platform. BTP is free. Don't link this to on-premise system. Okay, it is not part of SAP system. It is not part of any SAP system. It's a standalone platform. This is the straightforward, and keep it in mind. So this is free. You can use any of the non-SAP or SAP systems by configuring your destination here, the target system. Obviously, if you want to connect to your on-premise system, definitely there will be a host, a port, everything, every secured information, and the user ID and password information as well. Using that, we will be able to authenticate through this destination, and whatever the name we are going to create here, for example, um, D4 D423 is my system, backend system. Okay, so this system, if we want to use this in any application, this all information is not required for us. So our application will show only DE423. We can use the destination and we can connect easily using the BTP will take care of connecting to the on-premise system. Okay, so this topic again in practical we see when we develop a UI5 application using Web IDE or a Business Application Studio in detail. So what are the parameters? There are some parameters we need to add if the service is only for OData communication, or it is required for UI5 application. That means in turn BSP communication. What kind of, so there is another OData type, access OData. So is it allowed for access communication, etc. We will be considering those parameters, adding new parameters here. If you see, there will be list of parameters available in this destination.
Okay, it is only for fetching the data from the different system, not only SAP.
Not only SAP. It's not only fetching. I shouldn't say that. So it's a both. It's a CRUD operation. Whatever the operation you need, you can perform using this destination service.
Okay, for modified data also.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Okay, and so if the system is not securely protected, we will be using this destination. And if the system is protected with a firewall, like a private cloud, what we have mentioned yesterday, so it's a private cloud. So in those situations, we will be using a cloud connector. So this cloud connector is a secure tunnel established between the BTP and the backend system, the backend SAP system. Okay, so this cloud connector is an add-on software which comes free if customer is an SAP customer. Okay, so the customer has to request for cloud connector installation, and they will have to additionally include this cloud connector with a SSL secured layer certificate. Then we can make use of this destination. Here we will see the options proxy type. Here we see internet, on-premise, and private link. So if we select any on-premise one, we will see the number of options that we can authenticate through. Here, if the customer is using any uh, single sign-on authentication mechanism, then the customer might need to configure the destination with principal propagation. So there will be a target URL for authentication. So the IDP, what I was mentioning, identity provider. So the identity provider configuration will be set up in the trust settings here, trust configuration under the security. So that using that certificate and the single sign-on mechanism, the BTP will not ask for any additional logins. If the user was already logged on to any other portal of the organization, the BTP relevant, if you launch your BTP, again, it will not ask for any authentication. It will straight away use those cookies or sign-in mechanism, and it bypasses for authentication. Okay, so and the same cloud connector is used for integration purposes. So integration suite, again, it will use the cloud connector authentication when it needs to communicate to on-premise system, because CPI is not a not an solution outside of BTP. CPI is a solution, the BTP based solution. So the customer cannot use CPI without BTP. Okay, so earlier we had come across many integration technologies like XI, PI, PO, all these CP, HP, HCI, etc. Yeah. So all those are overruled now. So they are not in place. So they are all being overcome with the CPI. The CPI is a BTP solution where it needs the cloud connector to communicate with the backend systems, its on-premise systems. Okay, and now here, if you see the security users, so as I have added the user in my members, so they will be part of this users as well. So right now I see these two users on my BTP account. And if I choose this user, I will have an option. I will have an option to see what are all the details or functionalities this user has, and even in real time we will be having the roles assignation against this user again. So here role collection, for now the user doesn't have any roles assigned. So if you see here, there is an option assign role collection. So these roles we definitely need to assign ourselves. So when we make our way to use Business Application Studio in next sessions, so that point of time we might see some errors popping through. You're not authorized or something, some weird errors. I think someone might need to go on mute, please. I don't know who it is. Yeah, thank you. Okay, So assigning these roles, then only we will be able to access our business application studio platform. And so you might ask me a question, why are we seeing only business application studio roles? Can anybody have a view on it?
I think IT is already subscribed.
That's correct. So the roles according to the subscriptions we have made on our BTP platform, only those roles will be displayed here, because that makes sense in reality. Displaying all the roles of all the services doesn't make user pretty much comfortable to choose the roles whatever they need. So it makes more sense if we have the roles of the services the customer has subscribed. So we have subscribed only business application studio at the moment. So that's the reason we have these business application studio relevant roles, and these cloud connector, and these are all, they are not the uh, services at the moment. They are the components of BTP. That's the reason we are seeing all those roles as a common roles. So if I want to allow creation of the destination to Arun, I can simply destination administrator, and this destination administrator, I can simply go ahead and assign the role collection. So these roles are part of Arun. So now Arun is also authorized to create a destinations on this sub account. Okay. So if you see the role collection, right now we have seen users, now the role collection. So this role collection, we have all these role collections. We can pick up any of the role collection and we can assign. So right now to assign to Arun, I have chosen um, 3 roles and I have assigned 2 destination. So these 2 are destination administration. So rather doing that, we can ourselves maintain a role collection. We can still even go ahead and create a collection. Destination admin. So now we have uh, yes. So now we have this role collection, and we can control our users and everything from here as well. Okay, so users, no users at the moment. Okay, roles, no roles. If you want to look at the full screen, we can go for full screen. We can go into edit and we can add the role name. So what is the role name we want? So the cloud connector not this one, destination, I would say destination, all destination relevant, configuration administrator, uh, trust administrator, and for example, all destination viewer. Okay, that's fine. So now I can add all these roles into this role collection. Okay, so we don't have a user group at the moment. So user groups, I think identity provider needs to be configured to add the users. Okay, so from here itself, I can assign the users. Yeah, identity provider, default identity provider. If I can add Arun's email address here, so it will automatically assign this role collection to Arun. So this is also one of the way. So right now we have this destination. Let me rename it if I can. Edit mode. No. I can't rename this one. Is it really? Destination and yeah, I'm not able to rename it. That's fine. So if I go to users and if I go to Arun or someone, if you can tell me, sorry, not user create, can default identity provider. Yeah, if someone can tell me your user.
Suresh N.
Yeah.
Dot F stack. Yeah, there it is.
So now I have added your user as well here in this one. So now what I'm going to do, I'll just go ahead and I'll just try to assign a role collection, and here I should see my destination role collection here. Okay, so if I choose this one, you will be able to see all the roles we have collected in a role collection.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why we have this role collection. So this role collection again will be part in our space level as well. So space users, we can even have control at the space level as well. So this is the just overall concept what we are looking here. And the roles, whatever the roles available, we can have, we have the set of roles, because we cannot create our own roles here, because we do not own any of the service from the marketplace. Okay, so these are the list of the roles available uh, available to uh, based on this sub account at the moment. So we can choose these roles to assign to any of the user who we create or add into our sub account.
In real-time customer area, if you have a client.
Yeah.
So these roles, do we need to remember these roles?
Nope.
Do we need to assign them? Or
No.
somebody
No. So the answer is no as of now. But whoever is admin, whoever is getting, for example, if you have been given an admin role in your sub account for your customer, okay, so then you might, these all things might need to be in your mind. Okay, so one of your teammate is reported to you that I'm not getting this service access, or I'm able to access the service, but I'm not able to do particular task. So here, if you see in the role collection, what we have seen here, so all the activities in the destination, if you see, some of them are having a viewer access as well. Okay, so user might get by default viewer access, but might not be getting the destination configuration administrator or destination configuration viewer or destination administrator. For example, who exactly he is able to see these destinations, okay, and in these destinations, the user is not getting any of these buttons. Okay, this is what I mean the administration. So if you have only viewer role, you can view the destinations, that's fine, but you won't be able to edit any of the destination, or you won't be able to create any new destination. Okay, so if, in that cases, if your teammate reports, yes sir, I'm able to see the destinations, but I need a new destination, I create my own, if you can give me access. Okay, so in that point of view, you must aware that, okay, so there are rules concept, okay, that's fine. So you can straight away go ahead and add that destination administrator role to your teammate, and okay, hey guy, go ahead and check it now.
These are all the rules what you can think of assigning. And, so you just have to identify which is the suitable role.
That's correct. So these are the rules available according to the subscriptions what we have made. Okay, So if you see, this is US10 App Studio. So this is Business Application Studio role. So web ID developer. So it's not straight away, the role name is not same, but the collection, roles collection, whatever we see there. So it's a business application studio administrator, the description, if you see. Okay.
Yeah.
So this combines both the web ID and business application studio.
But I could imagine like this BTP work is mainly for the lead developer or something bigger than that level, right? Not a regular developer. He can come here and maybe he would work on the space what you have said.
Yes, that's correct. But it is again, so it's it can deviate to an argument as well. So if there are limited developers and no, they do not want to assign these administration activities to someone else, then obviously as a developer you might need to take care of this activity as well. Usually this happens in medium or small scale organizations.
Sure.
Yep. So, and this trust configuration, as I mentioned, so this is where we do our IDP configuration. So identity provider. So if we have any different identity provider, for example, I think it's Google Firebase something. So Google Firebase is also an IDP, uh, which will be authenticated based on the Google email. So if we want to add any IDPs here, a single sign-on or everything, so they all will go here. So this default, nobody is asking the question, what this default identity provider? So this default identity provider will look into the SAP accounts. Okay, so if someone doesn't have SAP account, I won't be able to add them here. Okay, so while creating an account here or adding an account, you might have seen that. So there is an option default provider. I don't have any identity providers here. Okay, so this obviously looks back into SAP account database and fetches this account details and adds onto here. If someone doesn't have a SAP account, it definitely would stop me there. Okay, so this is trust configuration, and in this trust configuration, again, the cloud connector configurations as well. They also will be configured in the trust configuration. The principal propagation, whatever we have seen here. So creating the destination to on-premise system. Okay, using the principal propagation. This will not ask you for user ID and password. And this location ID is the IDP location ID that the organization has. They just configure this location ID and they just keep configuring the trust configuration based on that location ID and this identification. It directly goes with that particular user, whoever is logging in. It goes to the IDP server and it comes back with the response. So they all will be configured in this trust configuration, SAML, which we say.
A general question like these users, what you just mentioned, like yes users or how it is like SAP users are different and these cloud users are different.
Correct. So this is again, it's basically it should be there should be as user. Okay, to answer your question, that's a general funda. And apart from that, so organization can control with their IDP as well. So with the SAP, they can negotiate. So I don't want to have S user for my organization. I do control all the users with my IDP, but whoever the user comes, then those users will be configured here, and they just go ahead through the IDP. So it's not necessary to have an S user, but generally we should have S user.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And this security, again, the settings. So these token validities and how long this authorization is valid, and when the authorization needs to be revalidated, and these all settings the organization can configure. So if you could see easily, since in point of Microsoft authentication, so it is now you can if you could have noticed the URLs when you try to log into your Outlook or Teams on webs, okay? So it will not take. There is another example as well for this one, but I don't want to use that one. If you look at this one, whenever you launch that one, it goes back to Microsoft accounts.microsoft.com and it comes back. Okay, so the authentication each time the authentication will happen for each application, whatever you launch from your organization or from wherever. So that's how those settings are maintained. And for each 1 day or each 7 days or each 10 days, again it will ask for um, authenticate again. So usually I see it from my point of view, it's 8 days. Don't ask me on this computer for 8 days. That stores the cookie on your laptop or machine, whatever we use, and the same information will be passed to these IDP authentication servers. Okay, so this is the password, this is the cookie ID. So for next 8 days, don't ask me this, and this communication will happen underlying architecture. But that doesn't matter for us. But these settings, so similar kind of settings can be maintained by the customer uh, using these settings. If you see here, access token validity and refresh token validity, how how many seconds the access token is valid and things like that. Okay. So and underneath it, we have again the entitlements. So this one we already seen this one, the entitlements of the services. This usage analytics, it will give against our entitlements. So how we are using, how we are performing on our BTP. So if you see 59 active services and active subscriptions 1, and spaces we created 4. So active subscriptions, if we go there, what we see, it's Business Application Studio. Okay, so this is all the BTP coverage. Okay, and now what I would like to see, okay, so now I left the discovery center, right? So let me go to the discovery center, and I think we need to go to the development space as well, how it will look like. Development space. If you see, if we are on development space, again, all our the menu options have been changed. Do you see that? So on this particular space, in the trial account, we haven't got we haven't got a HANA option here. Do you see? So there is no HANA option here. So we can't create any database or something like here. We can't straight away create an application. We can't use a straightforward service provided by SAP and all these things. So they all possible in the development space. So that is why this space has been segregated from the sub account point of view. So if you get into space, all these menu options have been changed. Here SAP HANA. So HANA, I can create a HANA database here. So if you see two options, so it's just SAP HANA database and data lake. So these are the latest terminologies where the market at the moment, data lakes. So these data lakes, I think this is a specific word who knows are working on Hadoop or big data point of view, so they will be dealing with these data lakes. Now that is part of SAP as well. So this data lake is specifically for data warehouse cloud. Okay, so the data warehouse cloud is the data mining all includes on it one. So data warehouse on premise is going to be data warehouse on cloud, so that all the integration between the systems, and they can load the data here, and from here they can do they can do all their consolidations, and they can do all their plannings using the service available on BTP, the SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay, so SAC needs the data anyway, so that's the reason the data lakes are introduced on cloud BTP. Yes, someone asking question.
It means it is like a central database for temporary purpose. Only,
It's not.
it is accessing entire databases like other systems also we are storing.
Yes, that is also possible. So we can replicate the data between the databases if the customer decides. Okay, so all the customer needs is he needs to choose the right size of the database while creating an instance, the database on BTP. So the concepts, if you want to pursue more on this one, so the concepts are smart data access and smart data integration. So these are the two concepts where speaks about the connections between the databases. So irrespective of whether it is on cloud or it is on premise, it doesn't matter to this. So there are mechanisms available how we can connect these databases to the BTP.
Okay, how many ways we can connect the databases from other systems in SAP BTP?
So SAP BTP, it's a smart data integration and a smart data access. So they will be having a specific host information and etc. Right. So these are the two ways: smart data integration and smart data access. There will be a Unix or CLI commands which we need to run to establish authentication and things like that. But data warehouse cloud point of view, it's not only database. So data warehouse, if we take the general data warehousing practice, how they will be loading file data as well. So files also part of the data analytics, right? So
Yes.
the files, different types of files, it could be a text file with a tab delimited or something, that they all comes under transformation again. So there will be transformation and loading techniques. What is required, they all followed. But this is a high level, so yes, there is a possibility to make use the HANA database on cloud to connect between SAP and non-SAP system databases. So coming to the cloud database point of view, it's not necessary to be a HANA database. You can connect to SQL Server or any other other databases as well. So how do you,
Okay,
for
okay,
example, yeah.
We can create a data here also.
Yes, of course, we can load directly. Yep. And if you see services here, here again we have the service marketplace on this one. So this is the same service marketplace what we have seen previously on that one. So we can choose any of the service. For example, ABAP environment. We can create instance at this point and we can use it. Okay. So what is the difference? Now you can question what is the difference of service marketplace here and service marketplace there? And anyone can relate this one? Are you following?
I think it is
Yes.
restricted to developer station. I think. It is entirely for the sub account.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So there is no difference where you use the service marketplace. So if you use the service marketplace at sub account level, obviously it will ask for space, in which space you need to create this, or in which space you need to use this service. But if you are already in a space, it won't ask you for a space, because you are already on development space, right? So you see here, so there is no option to choose the space. So there is no difference. So you don't need to confuse. So is something different service marketplace on space, or the service marketplace available on sub account. So there is no difference. It's our choice. Wherever we want to create a space, we can create a space and go ahead. And these instances are specific to this development space. If whatever the instances available, it shows here are specific to this development space. This instances is specific, but service marketplace is more different.
What about trial? Can you go to the trial?
That is the sub account. Yes.
No, go to the this one. Overview. You have this the overview, right? This one, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Here, create a space is there here.
Yes. We can create space.
Which again specific to the development also, right?
Yes. So if you want to create another space here, you can create another space. So like a development. So here or from here also you can go to development. Okay. So like this, if you want to create more spaces, we can create more space. Okay. So now I'm going to another space. So routes. So these routes, it's routing between the applications. So apps internal and things like that. In general time, so there might be request to route the applications between the servers. Okay, between the instances. But here we are not going to use any of the routings, because whenever we build the application, the framework will by default create routing services for us. Whatever the services, for example, if we are using any HANA database in our application, it automatically includes all those routings required for us using the business application studio. And again, in the space, we have the uh, security groups here. So these are all to just to know, and these groups are again user specific. These security groups are used for administration purposes. And events, things, how whether I created new account and etc. Everything will be logged here, according to the activities we are doing there. And now this is the members. So these members are specific to the space. If you see, though I have Arun and Suresh on my sub account, security users. So they both are a part of my sub account. That doesn't mean they are allowed to be they are allowed to use my space. Again, in the space, I will have to add those users to become part of my space, the particular space. Okay. So if I add member, so it will ask for again the email address. So space developer, I want to restrict him to developer, not a space manager or a space auditor. I can restrict and I can add the same user as a developer. So I'm space manager and space developer like this. Okay, so and useful links from here. So if we want to learn more about this or something like that. So anyway, all the times those information and everything is available for us. So these are the BTP tools and like okay. So this is what I wanted to cover for today on BTP. So I think we will create instances, the service specific instances, and we will explore more further tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Hello.
1 second.